in Jesus Christ. Hallelujah. You just got to hold on. Hold on to the Word of God. Hold on to what God has purposed in your life. Amen. Hold on to the dreams that God's give you. Hallelujah. Woo! Hold on by faith and hold on with zeal. You may be facing a difficult situation. You may be facing something you don't know how in the world you're going to get out of this thing. But you understand this, God loves you and God cares for you. Don't call on Him just to get you out of the situation. Call on Him because you love Him. Don't say, Lord, I need a 911. Just say, Lord, I need a heart transplant and I'm ready for a life change. Who's on the Lord's side? God is good and full of blessing and full of love, grace and mercy. Amen. And God will help you, enable you. God will help enable you to do all you can do, to be all you can be. Amen. God loves you. God cares for you. I wish I had more time, but I don't. Choose Jesus. Choose the Lord. Choose this day whom you're going to serve. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And don't you dare let the devil push you around. We've got victory in Jesus. God bless you is my prayer for each and every one of you.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Birch Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Birch is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Birch Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Hello folks, this is Robert again from your Sears Hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed or having a backache or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears Hometown store. So come on down to your Sears Hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joe Horton after world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, starting with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Hello, welcome to the Just Sports Show here on WLAF AM 1450 as well as www.1450WLAF.com. Up close and personal, Honeybee's got me real close today, so scoot up to the television, enjoy this next hour. Brent's not going to be with us. He's on assignment with the middle school baseball team. He's going to text me the score here shortly, I hope. And with our executive producer, Honeybee, of course, my name is Les Martin. We certainly appreciate y'all tuning in, taking an hour out of your day to join us here on WLAF AM 1450, 100.9, same old radio station, just a brand new place on the dial, as well as the internet and Channel 12 WLAF. We're going to have Coach Price call in about 9:10. About 10 minutes after. We're also going to have Coach Mays of the Campbell County Cougar baseball team call in as well tonight about 9:35. So we'll have two coaches on the air tonight. They will not be in studio to cover some things. Let me get this call. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing, Miss Kay?
Fine. Who are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing the show solo tonight. Brent is in Claiborne County with the middle school baseball team.
Who's over there with you?
Just me. Just me. Who else needs to be here, Kay? Just me, right?
No one knows the reason. Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, that's all right. I'm good. It's we've got a full slate. We've got a full slate, and Coach Price will be joining us in about 5 minutes on the telephone. So you need to stick around and listen to it. How do you listen to it? How do you listen to us, Kay? Do you listen to us on AM side of the dial or the FM side?
On AM, on the water station.
Okay.
You.
Gotcha. Okay, you listen to AM 1450 then.
Mhm.
Did you know that we are also on the FM side of the dial of 100.9? Did you know that?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure you knew.
Mhm.
All right. Now, before I get wrapped up in us in a deep conversation, I'm going to ask you who's your favorite team because I got to wait on Coach Price to call in. Okay.
Okay.
Who's your favorite team?
Go Cougars.
I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Miss Kay Grizzle calls every Tuesday, regardless. It doesn't really matter what time. She always calls first thing. But before we get started, there's some things that we're going to be talking about tonight. Tennessee basketball got a commitment from a Knoxville native that now lives in South Carolina that goes to 22 Feet Academy. Also, we're going to talk about some kids for the football team as well for University of Tennessee. Kyler McMichael, also Emory Jones, Trevor Lawrence, just to name a couple. We're also going to talk about the Campbell County Cougar baseball team. They played tonight against Anderson County. We're going to talk about the Campbell County football team. A lot of stuff coming up. A lot of stuff we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the combine or the weightlifting program that they had here last week up at the high school. Had a very successful outing where everybody gets together, they watch the kids lift, and the kids go out before this and they get donations and things like that, and then it raises money. And I forget exactly what you call it, the weightlifting combine's what I call it. But we'll talk about also the best feel-good story in sports. We'll have I told y'all last week that every Tuesday I'm going to try my best to have a feel-good story as we go off the air. Regardless what we talk about for the first hour, the last little bit, we want to talk about just a story that makes you feel good. Also, we'll have some scores from Campbell County Middle School as well as the scores from the Campbell County baseball. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
I got the wrong number, honey. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Wrong number. All right. Coach Price is going to be calling in about 5 minutes. So hang on a minute. I got to send a text out. Sorry, this is live television, folks. Live TV. Coach Price, we'll talk about one of the things that he is most proud of as far as his football team so far this year. It's early. They have done a lot of drills, a lot of weightlifting, a lot of exercise and training, and of course, Coach Price is one of those guys that's a no-nonsense type of guy, and the kids really take it serious. And they came into this program about 5 years ago. The first couple of years not being as successful as they want to be. They was 3-7, and when I say successful, I'm talking about wins and losses, being measured by wins and losses on the football field. The first year they went 3-7. The second year they went 3-7, but the second year 3-7s. They wasn't the same as the first year 3-7, and the reason why I say that is because we were so close to winning some key games in that second year. They could have very easily been 5-5 or 6-4, and then of course the following year, the third year that Coach Price, Justin and Matt was on the territory and had the kids in place and was teaching everything that they was teaching these kids, and the kids was buying in. But then they got better, and they went to the playoffs. They've been to the playoffs the last 3 years. So it's one of those situations to where they're getting better and better. They're going to be even better. They're going to be even better this year. They was a young team last year, only lost probably about 6 seniors that played consistently, not to take away from the seniors that didn't get to play a whole lot, but still yet, this team's going to be pretty strong this year, pretty stout as far as not only by lifting weights, but as far as the experience that they're going to have on the football field. It's probably going to make a world of difference compared to what they were last year. Last year we went 5-5 in the regular season. We lost to Ray County in the first round of the playoffs. I think by a score of 35-0. We ended up going 5-6. And I tell you, Prep Extra picked Campbell County to go 5-5 last year, and they hit the nail right on the head. They apparently knew something that I didn't, because I picked them to go more or less 7-3, just to be honest with you. So with that being said, it's going to be one of those situations to where we're going to find out exactly where the Prep Extra picks them to go this year, what their record is, and we'll find out. But while we wait on Coach Price, we want to talk about a couple of injuries for the University of Tennessee. Jalen Reeves-Maven out with a shoulder injury. He's one of the linebackers. Also, Dylan Bates is another linebacker. He's out with a shoulder, or not a shoulder injury. It's an undisclosed injury. They have not said anything about what the injury was. And here's Coach Price now. Hello, Coach Price. How are you, buddy?
Doing great, Les. How about yourself?
Buddy, I really appreciate you taking time out away from your family and your little boy, and I know you've been busy this off season, but I certainly appreciate you taking time out to join us here on the show tonight via the telephone.
I appreciate being on. It's like it's been a while, and got the little one to sleep about 8 o'clock, so it's been got a little peace and quiet over the past hour.
Well, Coach, you had the combine, or what do you call that, where you do the weightlifting? Basically you're just kind of maxing out, testing your kids, and we kind of set up similar to the NFL combine, and get our parents able to come and watch our players work out, and kind of use it as a little fundraiser as well. And our kids enjoy it. They've worked hard, and sometimes the weight room gets very routine and kind of mundane. The kids get a little bored with it, so you got to find ways to make sure that the kids, and number one, are having fun doing what we're doing this off season. I know that from what I heard, the numbers was huge. A lot of these kids, and I'll be honest with you, you've got some kids that's what I would say, I wouldn't call them puny, but they're not big like Mike Rhodes or one of those guys. They're smaller than that, but they can really lift the weight.
Yeah, this is from top to bottom, that's probably the strongest team we've had in the 5 years we've been there. And that's linemen, skill guys, just kind of a collective group. I mean, they're just these guys have worked hard. They're going to be a big senior class next year. Those guys came in as freshmen. They were strong as freshmen. They've really worked hard and committed themselves to the weight room. So this is their 4th year in our weight program, and you're definitely starting to see the results.
Coach, what kind of a difference does that make, say, compared to a couple of years ago when these kids wasn't as strong as they are today? What difference will that make late in the game or late in the season for these young men?
It's very important. I think number one, they build so much camaraderie and team. The idea of a team in the weight room, especially in football, and but them to understand what hard work is and commitment, and to do that for 4 years straight is when you start seeing the big results. I think a couple of years in the weight room is big, but when you get those guys like we're gonna have this year that have been in there for 4 straight years, you start seeing a lot of results, and not just the weight that they're lifting, but I think a lot of it's just the confidence they have. Being able to throw up 300 pounds on the bench or 400 or 500 pounds on squat, doesn't always translate to making you a great football player, but I do think the mental part of it is so important and allows those guys a lot of confidence.
I know that you are going to have like you said early in this conversation, you're going to have a heavy laden senior team. Of course, last year you had some sophomores and juniors playing. Didn't have that many seniors that contributed every football game as far as started, but it's going to be a little bit different this year, isn't it?
Yeah, we were looking at kind of our roster the other day, and we got 10 guys returning on defense and offense that has started at least 5 or more games, and really 11 that have started at least one. And that's kind of unheard of in high school football. And not taking away from the seniors we had last year, I think we ended up with 10 of them. And we'll miss Austin Raines and Jacob Bunch and Austin Trentham and all those guys. But we're excited that we're going to have some experience this year. And that's something you just can't coach. You try to prepare them the best you can, but till those lights come on and it's 4th and 2, and you got to have a big stop or you got to score. Until they've been in that situation before, a lot of times they don't understand the magnitude of it.
I know that you went 5-6 last year. It's something where you didn't want to finish in that position at 5-6, but you had a lot of sophomores and juniors playing as well. That experience is going to translate this year, and I'm not going to ask you to put a number on it. I know the number that I have in my head as far as what I would like to see the Campbell County Cougars do this year. But as far as last year compared to this year, at running back, you had Jacob Bunch. Of course, he was injured a lot of last year due to an ankle, and Josh Lay carried the ball extensively. He threw the ball a lot. But who do you look forward to this year at running back position, or do you have any idea at this point?
Right now it's something that we got a couple of options there we're going to be looking into. Obviously, with Josh Lay's ability to run the football and play some quarterback, I think you got to be able to put him anywhere he can be on the field. Having Zach Rutherford and Shane Bowman back at quarterback, I think that'll free Josh up to maybe do a lot of different things, such a dynamic player. But we got some young kids too, and Christian England, who's going to be a junior for us next year, who had just an unreal season last year on our JV schedule. It seemed like he was scoring 3 or 4 touchdowns every Monday, and just blessed with a lot of speed and very explosive. And, those are a couple guys we're looking at. Obviously having Hayden McIntosh back, and then Patrick Strunk. We lost him to a foot injury last year in the fall camp, and so we'll have those guys back. So we've got a lot of depth at that position. I know Coach Berry is excited about it. I think our offense has really kind of become a more balanced attack with the passing and the running attack, and so hopefully we can build on that this season.
I forgot about Patrick Strunk, just to be honest with you. He was, like you said, he was gone all of last year, but hopefully, if the injury bug doesn't hit this year, you all is going to be in a much better place than you were a couple years ago when you had probably 5 or 6 kids out due to injury, which translates to a little bit more on the field as far as not only the motivation, but the fact of when it's 4th down, like you said, 4th and 2, or when it's late in a game and you got to have a stop, or the endurance through what the weightlifting and having all these extra guys makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, you take 2 games that really stand out for us last year are Gibbs and Bell County. I felt like those were the 2 games that probably was the difference, us being 5-5 and 7-3 in the regular season. And in both games, we were either tied or had the lead in the 4th quarter, and just couldn't find a way to finish the games, whether we're inside the 2 or 3 yard line or need to stop on 4th down. And a lot of those were just guys that were in positions that never experienced that before. And so hopefully that you take that next step, and when those opportunities come again, you make the most of them. But anytime you get hit by the injury bug in high school football, that's a lot to overcome. And every year you hope that nobody gets hurt, but that's just something that's part of the game, and you have to deal with it. And that's why depth is so important. And that's one thing that we're very confident about this year is the depth that we have on really about every position, skill guys and linemen. And so hopefully if we do get a couple injuries, hopefully we don't, but if we do, that we have guys that are ready to step in and fill those voids.
Well, Coach, I tell you, I'm looking forward to this year, and I don't want to keep you on here long. I want you to be able to spend time with your family. I know you've been extremely busy, but we certainly appreciate you calling in, and I'll be in contact with you in the future, especially around football season, practice, and things like that, and see if I can't get you on the phone a little bit more and let the fans hear you give a rundown on the team and your expectations and where we need to be as far as being successful. So with that being said, Coach, I really appreciate your time, and call in anytime. Will you feel free to just...
Les, I pretty like it. We'll, kind of the next step for us is we got spring practice starting May 2nd, that Monday. Then we'll go 3 weeks. We got a scrimmage against William Blount at Campbell County. I think it's May 13th or 12th. It's that Thursday. I don't have it in front of me, but so that's kind of, we're going to keep preparing, kind of doing all the stuff behind the scenes that kind of win games for you right now. Then in a couple of weeks, we'll be able to show them off a little bit.
Coach, one more question before you go. Just to give these folks that's listening and watching the show some kind of an idea, the coaches don't have off seasons, do they?
No, not much. We get a couple of weeks at Christmas, and next week we got spring break, and we always take that off. But other than that, we spend a lot of time with these kids. But that's part of the journey. You know, I know we play 10 games a year, and we're judged on those 10 Fridays. But those other 340 days that we spend with those guys a year are kind of what makes football so special. And we kind of take advantage of it and try to be good role models for these kids. That way, when they leave us, they can go be better husbands and fathers and sons and boyfriends and whatever else they choose to do.
All right, Coach. Well, I really appreciate your time, buddy. Go enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, thanks, Les. See you guys.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Coach Price, always great to talk to Coach Price. Good insight. And if you take notice, I asked him a question about his running backs. He just doesn't throw that one name out there. I mean, he's got some kids. He's got 3 kids that he named right off the top of his head, not to mention maybe a kid or two that may show up during spring training and may open the eyes of the coaching staff and say, hey, here's just another running back or whatever the case may be. It's a situation to where they continue to coach from the time they get on that field till the time they get off. And not only that, but they're also coaching more and more and more. So with that being said, let's get this call. Thank you for calling Just Sports. You on the air.
Hey, Les, it's your no-show partner, Brent.
Hey, buddy, how are you doing? I thought that was you, but I wasn't for sure. I just got off the phone with Coach Price. You missed it, but he sounds really excited for football. But let's move on from football and talk a little bit about the middle school baseball program.
Well, so far so good. They're 3-0 now. They beat Clinton tonight. Was Flavor County and just a quick shout out to the Jericho middle school team, and they brought in a pretty good bunch and played a good game. I think the final was 5-4. Jericho looks a lot better than they have in the past, and so far so good though with Campbell County. They're 3-0.
Fantastic. You said Jellicoe. Who did Jellicoe play tonight? You kind of cut out there. Do you know?
I'm sorry?
Who did Jellicoe play tonight? Do you know?
I do not know who they played tonight.
Okay. But they've got some pretty good kids on that team, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I was impressed coming into the game, and I hope I'm not breaking up. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Good. Coming into the game, I'd heard some about the past that Jellicoe, they're usually ball games usually over at the end of the first inning because it could have been some pretty poor baseball. But Matt Murray's got coached up pretty well, and they didn't have a lot of players. I think they only had 10 players. So when the JV played, they ended up having to play Jellicoe's varsity because that's all they had. But they did play a good game. Like I said, it's a 5-4. They had to kind of run on third base when Campbell County got the last out. So it was a good game.
Yeah. How did the middle school perform tonight against Claiborne County, Brent?
I tell you, it looked like it was going to be a runaway. It was 5-0 early on in the first inning. Our first at bat, They were putting up some numbers, getting the ball out in the field. But President guys did a good job. They came back and took the lead, and Campbell County battled back again and ended up winning the score with 12-10 was the final score, and it was a close game. That's pretty good pitching, and finally got the bats going again there late in the game.
I tell you what, that is something that seems like that has absolutely haunted Campbell County baseball program, the high school program so far this year, is the fact that they can't get the bats going at all.
Right.
And
I know we talked about recently how they jump out to a lead and are unable to hang on to that lead. And if that's the case, I don't think that's the case so far with these youngsters, and I'm not sure how the high school boys are doing right now overall. But so far, these young guys that are going to be coming up, they seem to be able to find a way to get those runs and shut down their offense at the last moment.
well, that's a good thing, especially if they're 3-0 and performing the way that they are. They've got something going, something special going. I know we've had some successful programs in the past at the middle school level, but I don't know that we've ever had a team that started out 3-0. Just to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, let's not let's not go far. I mean, it's early on. It could go south quick, but I would say it's an impressive start. So far, Clinton was really the one that surprised me, because we did play him in a play day early on, and Clinton pretty much handled Campbell County. But we missed some key players on varsity there for that game, and when a real thing occurred, we had a little more than expected, I guess. Pretty good pitching, and like I said, the bats are doing fine.
How's the pitching? How's the pitching tonight?
Tonight, I want to say Jared Ellison pitched tonight, and he did well. I believe he started getting a little tired, I think, in the second inning, and Brady Ritzler came in and pitched the head of the game, and then Dalton Wilson came in, and I'm telling you, Les, he had those kids stepping out of the box. I mean, I don't know what he was throwing, but he had some kids stepping out of the box on some nice strikes. I mean, he's really got a nice curve.
Well, I know that these kids are very capable, as we've seen a lot of these kids grow up during the rec league and actually coached some of these kids. You and I coached some of these kids and also played against some of these kids. So they certainly have the ability, especially since they are starting to mature, as we talked the other night, especially when they go from 7th to 8th grade, just huge amount of difference. And especially with these kids being worked with on a day-to-day basis, makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does, and you can see it. And I know I've mentioned Matt Dopp several times, but I mean, honestly, he stepped up there, and he's not a very big kid, but he's got a huge heart and he's got a big bat. I mean, the kid stepped up tonight. He hit a double tonight. I think he hit a double last game. He's really looking good out there.
Wow. Well, buddy, we'll let you go so you can cruise on down the valley there. Just be careful going home, and hopefully we'll see you back here next Tuesday night. Before you go, though, when's the next game for the middle school program?
Next game for middle school will be Saturday at 1 o'clock. I'm not sure who we're playing at this point, but I don't know if it's maybe home, maybe away, but at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and I'll post it on the Facebook page so people can know.
Okay. Well, buddy, just be careful coming home. I really appreciate you calling in tonight.
All right, buddy. I'm sorry I was late tonight.
That's all right, man. That's all right. We got it. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Bye. Folks, we're going to step away for a short commercial break. Miss Honeybee is in the production room and ready. When we come back at 9:35, of course, Chris Mays, Coach Chris Mays of the high school baseball Cougars will be calling in. I've got football, basketball, and baseball on the brain, folks, so I apologize. As you can see, I always have my Campbell County Cougar tumbler cup. And of course, we bought this one from Carissa Nance. So if you ever see any of these kids out here selling these cups, buy you one. They're great for coffee. That's what I just got finished drinking. But anyway, we're going to step away for a short commercial break. You're listening to Just Sports on WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Verge Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Verge Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Verge is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Verge Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Folks, this is Robert again from your Sears hometown store. If you're having trouble tossing and turning in bed, or having a backache, or your partner wakes you up when they come to bed, we can solve your problem with our Sealy Posturepedic mattresses or other name brand mattresses at your Sears hometown store. So come on down to your Sears hometown store and get some rest for your eyeballs with one of our Sealy or other fine mattresses.
Just look for the parking lot full of cars. Yep, that's Charlie's Pizza.
Hey, this is Joey Portnoy at the world famous Charlie's Pizza. Come down and see us.
First dates, riding with friends, celebrations, a break from work, whatever your excuse for stopping by Charlie's Pizza, everyone understands, because we all love Charlie's for pizza, pasta, sandwiches, salads, and lots more. What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza specialty? What's your favorite Charlie's Pizza memory? It's the worst kept secret around. It's Charlie's Pizza in Jacksboro. See you there.
Welcome back to the Tuesday night edition of Just Sports. My name is Les Martin. Of course, Brent Allen's on his way back from Claiborne County, where the middle school baseball program beat Claiborne County tonight by a score of 12-10. The middle school program is 3-0. They had some pitchers, Jared Ellison, Dalton Wilson, and I forget the other young man's name that pitched tonight. But it's good to see that middle school program doing well. Coach Justin Willoughby and all the coaches that help him coach, and I don't know their names. I apologize. And I know that's my job. I'm supposed to know the names, but it's tough sometimes to get all these names and get them memorized. I do good to keep up with Coach Matt and Justin Price, let alone everybody else. Anyway, Coach Mays from the Campbell County baseball program is supposed to join us via the telephone at 9:35. His program, they lost tonight to Anderson County by a score of 12-1. Don't seem to get the bats going this year. We'll find out exactly what his take is on it. Pitching seems to be a little off. Of course, they're a young team. Let's face it, they're a very young team. They've got a lot of freshmen. Tonight I was listening to the game, and on 100.9, Mr. David Graham was play-by-play announcer for WLAF, as well as David Graham and Joe Monroe will be there again tomorrow night, Wednesday night, at the high school field when Fulton comes in to play the Campbell County Cougars. But getting back to Coach Mays and the Campbell County Cougar baseball team, they started a freshman pitcher tonight, Landon Addington. He started. I don't know exactly how well he did. When I heard it, it was in the bottom of the second. It was 2-0 Anderson County. So he allowed 2 runs. Don't know if they were earned or unearned. I really don't know, but I do know that when I got finished listening and had some other things, had to make some phone calls and things like that, it was 2-0 Anderson County over Campbell County. So also, when we get finished talking to Coach Mays, we won't keep him on loan. He's got a long drive home, and we certainly don't want to keep him from making it there. But we're going to be talking about a Tennessee basketball commit that committed yesterday. Was reported here recently this evening. We're also going to talk about the NCAA tournament bracket. Is your bracket busted? Mine looks like it's been shot at with a shotgun, and you can only see bits and pieces of my bracket that's left. It's that blowed up from all these teams like UConn, Hawaii, making it, as well as Wichita State, also St. Joe's. I didn't pick St. Joe's at all, so it's one of those situations. All right, let's get Coach Mays. Coach, how you doing tonight, sir?
All right, you, sir?
Buddy, I'm doing fantastic. Been listening to the baseball games. Hadn't had a chance to come up and watch yet. I was in Kentucky today, but I'll make sure I'll try to get up there tomorrow as you all play Fulton tomorrow night. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We're
at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock is the first pitch?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Coach, you've started off 0-5, and of course the last thing I want to do is bring up your record. I apologize, but it's not the start. It's not the start that you were looking for, was it?
No, we've had. We kind of understood that we're going to take some lumps this year because we've got a lot of young guys playing. We're kind of having to learn on the fly. Believe it or not, the record doesn't indicate, but we're making some slow but steady improvements, and that's what I'm looking for. We're starting to put the ball in play a little more, and we're finally started hitting some balls hard here in the past couple games, and the more offensively, the more we do that, we're able to play our style of baseball as far as running the bases and things like that. But it's just going to take some time because we've got usually 2 to 3 freshmen to line up every night. So that's a big learning curve in AAA baseball.
Oh, absolutely. Y'all playing one of the toughest districts in East Tennessee. That is for sure. I know that you're very young, so I should have started out by saying the fact that you're a young team, coach, and your expectations and yada, yada, yada. But I apologize again. But you started Landon Adding tonight on the mound, and he's a freshman as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Landon,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it sounded like he was doing a pretty good job considering him being a freshman, pitching to some guys that's been in the program at Anderson County for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm. Landon did a great job keeping their hitters off balance. They've got some pretty strong hitters, especially in the middle part of their lineup, and Landon did a great job at hitting spots. He always does, and he kept their, especially their 3, 4, 5 hitters off balance. Back the 3 hitter, he sat back good on a fastball tonight and tattooed it, but which is to be expected when you have a freshman on the mound. But he was getting guys to roll over and hit weak grounders, and he was getting guys to pop up, which is what we were looking for out of Landon. And he had a couple strikeouts, and he did a good job with it. So
I know that folks seem to think, or some folks seem to think that when you're on the mound, it's how many strikeouts you can get, but it's actually not that way. You would prefer to have ground balls and pop-ups compared to having strikeouts, simply because of the fact of you throw fewer pitches with ground balls in some cases and pop-ups compared to having a lot of strikeouts. Is that right, Coach?
Oh, yes, sir. As long as, one of the main things we're looking for out of our pitchers this year is to keep our pitch counts down. We talk about every game, our defense helping our pitchers keep at least the 15 pitch minimum in the inning. You can clear the guy if he's throwing 15, 16 pitches an inning. And we've had a couple of runs this year where we've had giving the other team 5 outs an inning. And that makes it tough on pitchers. With our young pitching staff, we don't throw very hard, so giving guys a roll over, hit the ball on the ground, and that makes our pitching go a long way. And our pitchers have done a good job at that. We just got to pick up on the defensive end a little better. But with inexperience, it's going to happen. So,
Coach, with your pitcher, with the pitching that you have, and a lot of the young arms that you have, is it tough for a high school coach to get his pitchers some rest, as far as getting the appropriate rest in between starts?
Well, it is for us because we have to rely on a number of guys every day. Right now we don't have that guy that can go shove it down somebody's throat for 6 innings and then have the luxury of having a guy come out of the bullpen and close it down. We're just trying to work pitchers, and we're basically pitching for 2 or 3 innings at a time and trying to work the next guy in, and that's what wears on you as a coach, but again, our pitchers are doing the right things. We just got to keep them learning and keep them focused and making sure that they do their job that inning. And their job is to get 3 outs, no matter how they get it, whether it's ground outs, pop ups, strikeouts. We'll take them anywhere we can get them. So I'm happy with them so far.
Yeah, I know that you haven't. There's only been a couple of games that you've allowed double-digit runs. The rest of them has been single-digit runs, 4-0, 5-0, so on and so forth, like that. Is the team making some errors that maybe can be cleaned up with more experience as they get on the field?
Yeah, we've got. Like I said before, we've got a lot of guys that just don't have any varsity experience. I mean, even if they have some JV experience before, it's just a different game at the level that we're at. The speed of the game is a lot faster. Balls are hit harder. Making judgments on where to be when the ball comes down or where the ball is going through the infield. That's something that can't be taught. It just has to be learned from experience. There's no way you can simulate that during practice, and we do the best we can in practice as far as simulating. But once you start playing, you play pretty much every day, and there's really no time for practice. So we have to learn on the fly and learn to adjust, and we're starting to make those strides. Last year, it took us 8 or 9 games to get things clicking. We're 6 games in now, and I'm hoping that some of these things will start meshing together here in a couple of days. So
I know that this is only your 2nd year at Campbell County High School. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Last year you came in as a first-year high school coach. I think you've done a great job. I think you're doing a great job this year. I think it's tough being a high school coach in our district and then having the challenges that you have and your coaching staff has with these young kids makes it even that much tougher. How do you and the coaches continue to coach these kids up to where you don't allow them to get down on themselves?
One thing I'm trying to do is make sure my coaches stay positive. We have to find some kind of positive in every game that we play, every practice that we have, and I think my guys do a good job of that. Coach Armstrong does a very good job with the pitchers, and Coach Circle does a very good job with the outfielders, and I touch on the infielders, and I'm hoping I'm doing a good job with them. And then, hitting is kind of a joint effort between the 3 of us. And we've got to make the guys understand their strengths and their weaknesses and make them play to that. And that's one thing we try to point out every day is these are the things that we can be strong at, we need to be strong at, and just keep harping on that. And sometimes it sounds like a broken record, but I believe in all the years I've been around this game, it'll pay off. We've had, overall, this is my 11th year here, as far as being an assistant coach or a head coach, and I believe that this is the most athletically talented group that we've had. We've just got to teach them to play baseball, and it's different from other sports. I mean, there can be 10 different things going on on play, and we've got to know what to do in this situation, and trying to make sure that they understand what's going on. That's the hard part. And when they do something good, we've got to really accentuate that and not try to dwell on negative things that happen. And I think we're doing a good job of that. We just got to keep the kids in check and know that we see the good things going on. And we try to point that out to them every day. So,
Coach, the next question goes pretty much hand in hand with the question I just asked you. As far as the last couple of years, we've had some teams that didn't finish where they wanted to finish. Some of them had some losing records, and I know Coach Browning was here. He done a great job with them as well, but it just didn't turn out the way that we expected or wanted it to. We always want these kids to go out winners, and they're winners regardless. But I'm talking about their win-loss record. Sometimes, as kids, it's kind of hard to, I guess what I'm trying to say is if it's a mentality. Sometimes you learn to lose, and sometimes you have to teach a kid how to learn to win. Are you seeing a lot of that this year?
Yeah, we're trying to teach them to learn how to win. We've got to get to that situation first, though. This year we've been close. Like I used Saturday against William Blount, for example. We were in the ball game the whole day, and we just couldn't get the big hit. And I was speaking with a couple of our players tonight after the ball game. Once we get something good to go our way, things will click. And that's what I keep trying to tell the kids every day. We've got to change the culture, and learning how to overcome bad situations is part of changing the culture. And we played great lights out baseball for 5 innings tonight, and one thing goes wrong and the wheels come off, and we've got to learn how to overcome that. That's just changing the culture. And I'm proud of these kids. They play hard every day, and good things are going to happen for them. It's just going to take time. And once that one good thing happens, it'll be like a snowball effect. It'll keep rolling. So, and that's what happened to us last year. We ended up like 12-18 last year.
Yeah.
And we won, I think, 10 out of our last 20 games. So that was a step in the right direction, and that's kind of the step we're looking for this year. We just got a lot younger team to do it with. So.
Well, that puts me in mind of the fact of the middle school program. The middle school program, they won tonight against Claiborne County by a score of 12-10. And I know that you've got some kids on your varsity team right now that played middle school baseball last year, which is a huge step. It's going probably twice as fast as what they're used to. But how important, Coach, is it for a big school like Campbell County and their baseball program to have a feeder program to get them boys ready for the high school level?
Well, that's the thing. The feeder program is big for us because for so long we didn't have a feeder program, and right now it's starting to. I think it's starting to teach them to win at the younger levels and to give them a taste of it, and hopefully they don't want to lose that taste. You know what I mean? They want to keep gaining on that, and I think the more they learn how to do it there, the easier for it will become once they get to the high school level. It's a different brand of baseball, yes, but it's still a taste of winning, and it gets everybody hungry for more of it. So I think our middle school game's going in the right direction. This year's freshman class, like I said, is one of the most athletic I've seen here in 11 years, and hopefully we can keep that moving along. So good things for us in the future.
I know that, like you said, we've been behind the 8 ball for a long time, and I'll just be perfectly honest with you. We had rec ball down at the rec center, and that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong; I'm not knocking it, but we had some folks coaching that probably shouldn't be coaching, but they volunteered their time, and I'm thankful for those guys who volunteered their time. I was one of them that coached and probably didn't teach them everything they needed to know, and probably didn't teach them near the stuff that you guys teach them. So having a feeder, a middle school program and a feeder program is huge. It would make a big difference, and like you said, we haven't had one in a long time, and we're just behind the 8 ball, and it's just that tough to catch up.
Oh, yeah, and one thing I'm hoping to do this fall coming up is maybe have like a mini camp or something for our rec league coaches to come in, and my coaching staff, and we can teach them what we teach at the high school level, and hopefully maybe they can start implementing it at the youth level. And what I would like to do is get everybody on the same page, from youth level up to middle school to the high school, to teach them what we teach at an early age, so we don't have to backtrack as much when they get to high school. And that's something me and my coaches have sat down and talked about doing next year, to have maybe, one night a week during the fall, where they can come in and learn from us and try to get their, 7, 8, 9-year-olds working with the same concepts, maybe not doing necessarily the same things, but learning the same concepts that we learn at this level. And that would really ease our learning curve a lot when we got to the high school level. A lot of people around do that, that they start teaching the same things at 7, 8, 9 that they do at the high school level, and it increases the learning curve dramatically. So it's something I'm wanting to do next fall, if we can get that implemented. So.
Well, I can tell you, it sounds like a great plan that you've got, you and your coaches, and I think it would be great. And I'll just be honest with you, not to bash too many people at one time, but we at the rec league level, we were more concerned about winning the championship, being the coach of the All-Star, taking the kids to the All-Star, getting our heads stomped. We didn't care if we taught them anything or not. We just wanted to be the All-Star coach and have to win the championship in the rec league. And I know that's not the proper way to look at it, so I threw myself in there as well. But having something put together by yourself and your coaches for these rec leagues would be huge. I know that we haven't had any type of coaching clinic, to the best of my knowledge, from any high school coach that I could remember. I could be wrong. But it would be something great that you all could certainly get started that would probably lead to bigger and better things.
Well, I hope so. I mean, the fall is our slowest time during baseball, and that would be the one time that we could all do it. So, January we can't do anything once January gets here because it's full out for us. But I think if they would be receptive to it, I think it could only help us in the future. I mean, if I can get, I don't know how many wrestling coaches we have, but if we can get an interest in these guys coming up and learning the things that we do and the proper way to teach it, I think that would be a great step in the right direction. And I don't know what days I would do that yet, but that's something we've been talking about, and we were wanting to do it this past fall, but it just didn't come. We let time get away from it. So I'm hoping next year that we can get that implemented. So I think that would be a good thing.
Well, y'all did a lot of improvements up there at the field this off season. Did you not?
Yeah, we did. We didn't have any Mother Nature disasters like we did last year. We added 4 tons of dirt to the infield, which brought the playing level back up to where it was supposed to be. And we've still got another 2 to 3 tons sitting out behind the fence we're trying to get on, but we can't do that for that season because the weather got bad on us in November, December, January, and by then it was too late when February got here. But we're coming in and say, hey, I want my kid to go to Campbell County High School. This is a great place. Our school is a great school, and we've got some of the best facilities in this area. What time to expect people to come want to play here? I mean, it's a great place to be. I love Campbell County High School. I love the people here. I love the place we have, and I love my kids. We got a great bunch of kids on the team, and I want to make that attractive to as many people as possible. So hopefully we're in the right direction there.
Well, what we need to do, Coach, and I don't know the story, but I just heard on the broadcast tonight that the scoreboard don't work. We need to find somebody, a sponsor, to maybe get us a scoreboard if that one doesn't work. What do you think?
Actually, it's the scoreboard's under warranty, and I've got a technician from the company. He's going to walk me through the process tomorrow or in this next week. Hopefully we'll get that thing up and running. Something has happened with the way the wireless receiver is. It's not sending the right messages to the scoreboard, and he thinks he's got it figured out, but me and the school electrician is going to go up there and see what's going on. If that doesn't work, they're going to send a technician from the company to come work on it. So it's not anything bad with the scoreboard. It's not receiving the right signals. If that makes any sense. It's kind of over my head because I'm not an electronics guy. But I spoke with him for about 45 minutes on the phone today, and he seems to think he knows what's going on with it. So it's under warranty, so it should be fixed when they figure out what's going on with it. So.
Well, good deal. And, Coach, I'm sorry to keep you on here so long. I've kept you on here for 21 minutes. I really appreciate it. I know you had a game tonight, and you got to get home to your family. And thank you very much. And I'll be in contact in the near future to maybe get you back on so we can talk some more. And I know these kids. I know you're doing a great job with these kids. You can tell by the way they carry themselves and their confidence. But you and the coaches are doing fine, and look forward to bigger and better things for Campbell County baseball program.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the time, and I apologize for last week. I was mowing, and I looked down at my watch, and it was about 10:30, and I thought, oh man, I missed the show. I apologize for that. I didn't do it on purpose. So. That's
fine, Coach. I understand completely. Trust me. Time gets away from us, especially as busy as you are, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule for us.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Have you a good evening.
All right, you too.
All right, bye-bye. Coach Mays got some kids, some young kids. David Graham said early on in the broadcast tonight that they was going to take their lumps. That's exactly what Coach Mays just said. They're going to have to take their lumps. That's no reason to get discouraged to get down and out on them or get discouraged. These kids are very talented, just like some of these kids that plays at the middle school level. They're very, very talented. And it's one of those things, and let me back up and say I wasn't trying to take away from the rec league. I don't want you to think that. I'm not doing that at all, because we need that program for these kids. We just need coaches, and I'm going to include myself in that. We just need coaches, some coaches, not all coaches, maybe get on the same sheet of music as teaching baseball the way it needs to be taught. And it's not about winning all the time, it's about fundamentals. And I promise you, if you teach a kid fundamentals of baseball, they will eventually turn it around and win. I promise you. If you teach motivation, confidence, and fundamentals of the game of baseball, I promise you they will be winners regardless of if they win that season or not. It doesn't mean anything right now as far as I'm concerned. It means something when it gets in middle school program and in the high school program when they can go play for a state championship. That's when it really means something. So with that being said, I was going to go over the bracket because my bracket, the NCAA bracket, mine is busted. I did pick Kansas. They're still in it. I did pick Miami. They're still in it. Let's see here. One more call. Thanks for calling Just Sports. You're on the air.
Hey, Les, this is Big Earl from Jacksboro. How you doing tonight, brother?
Buddy, I'm doing fantastic. How are you? I haven't heard from you in quite some time, brother. I didn't know if Thelma beat you over the head or what?
I tell you what, man, I've been traveling, and I just, every time I think about calling the show, it's like 10:01, and I keep forgetting. You know, big girls ain't getting no younger, so the memory's starting to fade. I'm going to start putting it in my phone to remind me. But I know I don't got much time. I was listening to Coach Mays there, and I got all fired up about the baseball program and everything. But, hey, I'll promise you I'll call you. Hopefully I'll call you next week. I should be able to.
Okay.
Let me throw a Karnak at you real quick before you go.
Okay.
If you remember, you know, I give you the answer, and then I'll tell you the question.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
This is an NCAA basketball special. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. The answer is Sweet 16.
And the question would be?
And the question is, how many of those little white donuts can Big Earl eat in about 10 minutes?
Lord, 16. Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, you know, those donuts come. There's a package of those donuts, and they're called Sweet 16. And every time I hear them talk about that on basketball, I go out and get me some donuts. It's like a Pavlov response when they mention Sweet 16. Big Earl's got to have some donuts.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel the same.
Right.
I feel the same way.
Hey, I know you got to go, Les. Just want to tell you, man, I'm glad you're back on the air. I promise I'll call more often. Big Earl's dropped the knowledge, and he's gone, brother.
See you, buddy. Be careful.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, here's our feel-good story. Hey, have we got time for a feel-good story, Honeybee? Huh?
Go forward.
Okay, here we go. This is hands down, by far, the best feel-good story in sports of the year. This was on January 26th of 2014. This has been a couple of years ago. Most of you probably haven't even heard of this story. First and foremost, a 17-year-old cancer survivor named Spencer Wilson hit the biggest shot of his life. But to fully appreciate this moment, you need to know the events leading up to this miracle shot. The game was against their arch rivals. Coach Thompson told each one of the players to pick someone to dedicate the game to. It could be an uncle, a grandpa, one kid picked his parents. They all joined this exercise, but safe to say, no one took it more seriously than Spencer Wilson. He picked his friend Josh Rominger. Now, Josh Rominger and what Spencer had in common was the fact that both of them had cancer. Now, Spencer Wilson and Josh Rominger both were great friends with one lousy thing in common. They had cancer. The difference was Spencer beat this cancer. Josh, on the other hand, did not. He passed away. So let me tell you what Spencer Wilson did. Before the game, Spencer wrote a letter to Josh's mom explaining what they were going to do and why he would be playing for Josh. His joy illuminated the room, and it was always apparent to me that he was special. Spencer wrote, "Just wanted to let you know the impact of your son has on my life and still to this day. I will never forget him." Spencer says he still thinks about Josh every day. That's why this opportunity meant so much to him. If you want to read this and see the shot, you can go to www.sunnyskies.com. That's SUNNYSKYZ.com. With 2 seconds left on the clock, Bishop down by a point, and their arch rivals at the free throw line. That's who Spencer Wilson played for, was Bishop. Bishop needed a miracle, and that's exactly what they got. The kid shot the free throw, missed it. Bishop got the rebound, threw it to Spencer Wilson. One of the kids from Bishop High School got the rebound, threw it to Spencer Wilson. He shot a shot from half court, made the shot. They won in overtime. And on the basketball, he wrote Josh Rominger, and he put all this information. So if you really want to check that out, don't tell me, folks, that cancer doesn't touch a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. A lot of it, when you say the word cancer, it touches them in a bad way. So with that being said, Get out there, support your cancer society, regardless of where it may be. Pink Pals, whatever you would like to support. But that to me, I think, is one of the feel-good stories that you could even think about. And like I said, you can go to www.sunnyskies.com. That's SUNNYSKYZ.com and read the story about Spencer Wilson and Josh Rominger. Anyway, with that being said, for our executive producer, Miss Honeybee, my name is Les Martin. This has been Just Sports, and this is WLAF Sports Network.
Listen up, Cougar fans, wherever you are. Verge Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette next to Big Creek is the place to go for all things Cougar. T-shirts, caps, jackets, and much more. If it's Cougars, it's at Verge Screen Printing. 423-562-3044. Need T-shirts or caps or polos for your business, special event, or church function? Verge is the business to call. Lettering, screen printing, and especially for all things Cougar. Verge Screen Printing in the heart of La Follette.
Hello, folks.